Hello, I'm Mr. Hartgrave, and I want to tell you about Monster Hunter Now. That's right, it's a new mobile game by the makers of the people who made Pokemon Go. So if you like Pokemon Go and you like Monster Hunter, then this is going to be fantastic for you. I'm a big fan of both. I played Monster Hunter ever since the first Monster Hunter on PlayStation 2, all the way up until Monster Hunter World on the PlayStation 4. And I'm a big Monster Hunter fan. I'm not playing it currently, but I did play this. I actually have played this already for 1 month. I don't know if I'm supposed to tell you this. I don't know if I'm supposed to show you that. Well, I actually know I'm not supposed to show you this, and that's why I'm showing it to you over here on this big screen TV in my background, hoping that that won't cause me any issues. But you know what? If they want to ban me for telling you what a great game this is, that's on them, okay? Because this game is super fun. That's what I want to tell you right off the bat. And if you just want to take my word for it, I've played it for a month. I'm playing it again right now. It just launched today, the day that I'm putting this video on. Then go use my friend code or my referral code. You can't see it. My phone's just blowing out my camera. But I'll put my referral code down in the description below, and you can use that. It gets you a little bit of extra stuff. Honestly, the reward sucks. I don't like how little you get for this. It should be some, gems, but we can talk about that as we go through this. So I'm super excited that this is launched now and that you can all experience it. During the beta, I played for a month pretty hardcore. I want to say a month, but maybe it was more like 3 weeks or 2 weeks. I don't know. I was a part of my daily routine. I would go out 3 times a day to play Monster Hunter Now. And I walk my dog while I play, and it's super, super fun. It made my dog walks longer. It made me healthier. What more can I say than that, right? It's really cool. All right, let me give you some tips. So if you load this up and you're like, what is this? What am I doing? Mr. Hartgrave, please help me. So I played this until I was HR 46. That's a lot of HR. I don't know. And at this point, it was getting pretty grindy. So that's my main thing. That's what I looked like when I was playing, and it got pretty grindy. You go through the monsters, you fight them, you level up your equipment. I'm going to say you don't have to stress out too much about what you level up. Like what I have here was a pretty end game build as far as where I was at in the game right now. Let me give you an idea of the stats that I was at. I had 430 attack power, 410 defense power. I had 441 pieces of armor. Don't worry about forging armor. You have to forge it. You can't not build armor, so go ahead and build all of it. The thing you might not want to do right away is power up all the armor, because a lot of it, you're going to end up just getting better pieces that have better base stats, and you're going to waste a lot of stuff, a lot of basic materials, crafting, enhancing your current armor set. So you want to work towards like end game weapon builds and just stick with like the same weapon, or build a high value piece of armor and then forge that, instead of like enhancing all the armors. But you do have to build the armors, because a lot of the stronger armors in the game will require you to build a lot of lower level armor items. So don't worry about building a wide amount of armor items. You kind of need to. The game will force you to do that. Here I'm showing some of my gear that I was using. When the beta was shut down, I was very much working on building a full set of Diablos armor. That full set of Diablos armor would have entirely made every other piece of armor in the game pointless, absolutely useless. So just keep that in mind. Your armor is going to be power crept out very, very quickly in this. Your weapons, on the other hand, are a lot more stable. The Gyros Edge, the literal first weapon that you are going to craft in this game, is an end game weapon. It is one of the, if not the strongest weapons in the entire game, and I think it's important for new players to know that. Constantly build your Gyros Edge. Do whatever you need to do to make that sword more bigger. In fact, Sword and Shield is, once again, this is like a throwback to the very first Monster Hunter, one of the most OP weapons in the game. Now, I only mainly messed with Sword and Shield and Katana builds. I very much like the long swords, but the Sword and Shield is just way more powerful than the long sword. The long sword is better at breaking animal parts, which can be useful for farming rare materials. But as far as killing monsters efficiently, it was really about sword and shield. Use the correct element to counter the monster that you're fighting. Most of the time, the element you're going to need is going to be what? Water. So Gyros Edge becomes like one of the best weapons in the game. But I did have fun with the longsword. I do enjoy the longsword. I think they're very cool looking. They're a very fun weapon to use, but ultimately they were letting me down in damage, and it was more about sword and shield. So you can see here that sometimes I would like kind of enhance a lower set of armor only to find that it became very, very useless. I kind of regret all of the materials that I put into that piece of armor. You know, you can do it. All that's going to happen is if you make a decision like that and you end up over forging a piece of armor, you're just going to have to grind more to correct the issue. There is no issue in this game that can't be corrected by playing more of this game. So the more you play of it, the more you'll get through it. By the way, I spent no dollars on this game. No money spent on any of this. And it was perfectly fun that way. The microtransactions were not predatory. They were not in my face. They were a little persistent. They were definitely there, but I wouldn't do them. I wouldn't feel compelled to spend money on this game. In fact, if it's anything like Pokemon Go, we won't really see any hardcore monetization on this for at least a year, maybe 2 years, maybe 3 years. Pokemon Go took a very long time before it started really monetizing itself heavily through global events. They would start charging you to participate in the game. And honestly, that's when I tuned out. So I don't suspect any of that will happen. During the beta, there actually was one event, and it wasn't anything to speak of. It was like an event where they put more Rathalos, Rathians and Gyros in the world, or maybe it was Legions. I don't know what it was. They put a couple of monsters all over the place. They weren't that plentiful. There weren't that any extra rewards. There wasn't like a special piece of armor or a special weapon to get, which I miss. Some of the Monster Hunters will have special events where you can get special weapons or special armor. I hope that they do that. They did not do any of that in the beta, and I didn't get to keep anything. I have to start entirely over. That's fine. I don't mind starting over because honestly, I don't know what else I was going to do after I had done what I'd done. Now, this is a map of if you're wondering what the map is like in a rural area, I live in a suburb, right? And this is, pretty much it. There was a lot of monsters. There were some mining locations at a park near me, but not... it was actually pretty good. Actually, if you want to compare this to Pokemon Go, the experience in the suburbs is much better. There were plenty of rare monsters to fight, plenty of high star value monsters to fight throughout the world. Oh, by the way, the more you play, you'll get 5-star monsters, and then eventually they'll turn to purple stars. I beat the story mode once. I actually beat the game in my couple of weeks of playing. And then what it told me is I could beat the game again and make the monsters even stronger. You can just keep redoing all of the quests over and over again and get stronger and stronger monsters. So I don't know if there's a level beyond purple stars, but I got to see purple stars. I believe just one purple star. I don't know how much more it becomes than that. This is more of a urban area, right? I went to an urban area, and honestly, it wasn't that much more thrilling. It was actually better in my neighborhood than it was in more of it was a kind of a college student center kind of place. It didn't. Now imagine New York, or if you're playing this in a big city, is going to have stuff jam packed and probably a lot of people to play with, but not bad for just a small neighborhood. So the gameplay loop I thought was very good. You complete these daily quests, you complete one-time quests, you build up to fights. Another cool thing that you can do is you can turn on location mode, and as you walk around with the game, you will paintball. Your cat friend will paintball monsters for you to fight. And they'll just be in here. And then if you're having problems fighting the monsters, if you're getting bad internet, you can paintball them, come home to where your good internet is, and fight the monster there. So I thought that was very cool, kind of a better mechanic than Pokemon Go ever had, where if you were having bad internet connection at like a boss fight, just cry and go home and weep into your pillow, dude. There's nothing you can do. But here, you could be like, well, I'm getting bad internet. Let me throw a paintball. I'll come home. You only get one shot at it. If you fail, then you're done. If you're in the wild and you're fighting a boss, you can try over and over and over again. You can heal yourself. You can wait. So that's kind of nice. But it is cool to have some ability to not have to be at the whim of the internet of wherever you're standing in the world. All right, the last thing I really want to do in this short little kind of first impressions of Monster Hunter now is just give you an idea of all the monsters you can fight. What's here? We had, let me get a good shot of this. All right, there's Great Gyros, and this is in the demo beta. I don't know if all these monsters carried over. I don't know if there's more monsters in the full version. This is just what I ran into in the beta. Gyros, Kula Yaku, Puki Puke, Baroth. Let me grab up some more of these guys. Great Gyros. By the way, none of these monsters were really a challenge to fight. The combat in this game is super simple from where Monster Hunter is, and I imagine it only gets easier the more friends you play with. I found actually this to be the best version of Monster Hunter. Now, I might sound like a real idiot for saying that. There's some Monster Hunter fans out there that are playing this right now being like, how could you say that, dude? But I don't know. At my age and skill level, I was pretty good at Monster Hunter, dude. I played it for like 10 years, but like, I just kind of like tapping to hit and then swiping to evade. Very simple monster destroying. It was no less satisfying than playing it on a console, which is weird to say. It was more, fights were over faster. There was less item management. I guess there's less depth to the combat, of course, but I just kind of like the fast and simple, make my weapons stronger, kill the monsters faster, get more parts, build bigger weapons, build stronger armor. It was a very satisfying game loop experience and kind of like a better version of both games. It's a better version of Pokemon Go. It's a better version of Monster Hunter. I don't know. You can argue with me down about it in the comments, but I just really connected with this game. I thought this was a really cool game. All right. I'm not paid to say any of that. They should pay me to say this, but I'm not paid. All right. There's Great Gyros. Tobi Kadachi, great monster. Palomu. Anjanath. Anjanaths are so easy to kill. This is like great. You get that Great Gyros water sword and shield and you go after Anjanaths. You can take them down like a half a second and just farm them. That was one of the more fun things I ever did in the beta. You got Rathians and Rathaloses. They're a little tricky. I'm not going to lie. Rathian and Rathalos, I probably only found them easy to fight because I fought so many of them in previous games for like 10 years of Monster Hunter. But for me, this was the easiest those fights have ever been. Though if you don't know all of their animations like in your sleep, like I do, it might be a little bit more challenging, but yeah, I didn't find them to be that hard. Lagania, Rathalos, and then finally the last monster, and this was kind of like a secret monster that they didn't really have a quest around, was Diablos. That was the coolest thing I saw were Diablos. There's no color variants yet. I expect those to come. Black Diablos, pink Rathian, blue Rathalos, stuff like that. That'd be really cool to see. No elder dragons, no Laos, no I don't know what else was out there. I can't remember any of the elder dragons. I just know it didn't have any of them. So none of that yet. Hopefully that's going to come. Man, fighting an elder dragon in this would be really, really cool. I really want to see how they implement that. I'm very excited about this game. I hope this got you excited about it too, because it's a super fun game, free to play. And I mean that free to play. I'm not paid to say that free to play. That is actually free to play. You don't need to spend any money to enjoy it. In fact, I would say don't, because all you're going to do is speed yourself towards some kind of grind. The slower and more casual you play this, the more you're going to enjoy it, because yes, at the end of this, all I was doing, the only thing that would progress me would be to fight Diablos, high star Diablos. And they were not hard to kill, but it was literally the only thing that was going to let me see new content. And that was going to be to get a full Diablo set of armor. And then from there was going to be literally nothing else. So I expect that they're going to add more to this game over time and that there will be some in-game content past Diablos. But right now, take your time, Enjoy the game. Let me know what you think about it down in the comments below. Use my referral code if you want. We're not going to get very much from it, but it will be cool to see how many people are playing. And grave diggers, keep digging.